Martha and Beth are sisters. Martha is the oldest and Beth is the second oldest. They have 3 younger siblings. Growing up, Martha and Beth were very close. As they grew up, their lives changed and they drifted apart. Beth went to teachers' college and then went overseas to teach. During this time, she met her husband Amir, who was Muslim. Beth converted to the Muslim faith. This was an informed decision by Beth, and she was not forced into it. Martha, over these years, became frustrated with Beth because they were not speaking as often, and it seemed that Beth had forgotten about her life and family over at home. When war broke out in Libya, Amir and Beth moved back with their parents. Martha began to be distant, rude, and made discriminatory comments to Beth. This affected the family as a whole, as Martha did not want to be around Beth. Beth received a lot of attention from the rest of the family as she became jealous. This continued to snowball and the conflict grew and grew. They decided, if not for themselves, so the rest of the family, that they should try and fix or diffuse the issues. This is them at the first mediation session.
In this model, the mediator used narrative therapy.
Hello ladies and welcome to Mediation. My name is Ashley and I'll be your mediator today. So before we get it started, I'm just going to ask that you introduce yourselves. So we can start with you.
So I'm Martha. I'm 30 years old and I'm the oldest sister in my family.
I'm Beth. We're 2 years apart.
So have you guys been to any kind of mediation before? No? Okay. So today I'm just going to get you guys to tell me about your stories. But in order for us to do that, let's have a bit of a contract. So it's supposed to be a safe environment, no interrupting each other, and just feel free to talk openly about whatever is on your mind and share your story. And then hopefully we can get through it all together peacefully. So we can start with Beth.
Sure. We came to see you because we've been having some trouble between us. And over the last few years, things have kind of fallen apart. When we grew up, we kind of took different paths. I came to university, I went to teachers' college, and then I decided to teach internationally in Libya. And for me that was a big deal because it was really scary and it was a really big move and I was really excited. But Martha didn't support my move at all, and that's kind of where it began. And also when I married him, I made the conscious decision to convert from Catholicism to the Muslim faith, which for me was an informed decision, and it's what was going to make me happy. I didn't feel pressured at all. It was just a change that I was willing to make, and I am happy in my faith now. And the fact that I did that because we were raised Catholic, I think that Martha just is really discriminatory about the Muslim faith. I think that maybe she doesn't know a lot about it, and she's made comments to me before that I think are discriminatory, and it really hurts me. And even though we don't talk, she said them before, and I think I just hold on to everything that she said, and it really just makes me resent her because I think that she doesn't understand why I made the choice, and I just keep holding on to all those things and I can't let them go, and I think that that's a problem.
Okay, well it seems like you're living with a lot of feelings right now. Okay, so I think by externalizing the problem, you're able to change your story. You're not going to have to live with that certain issue. It's something that we can change. So I would just ask that you maybe figure out what it is that's the main concern that you're having.
For me, I think it's the resentment that I have. It's the reason why I stopped making an effort to talk to Martha. I'm so angry at all the things that she said, and I stopped caring and I stopped making an effort. So I think the fact that I still resent what she said to me before is a big part of it.
So what would it look like without living with resentment with your sister?
I think that things would be a lot better between us. I think that I would want to communicate with her more. and that I would probably make a bigger effort into being closer again.
Okay. Well, let's see what your sister has to say too.
So, like Beth had said, is that like when we grew up, we were like really, really close, and we did get along. But then she like left and never made an effort to like communicate or keep in contact with us. Especially me, I felt that like everything about with her husband and whatever, they were all like never tried to get to know what I was doing, or I don't know, I just felt left out and that she didn't really care. And then when she came over, it was all about like the struggles that they went through, and I just feel that like this disconnect towards them, and I just don't think that like her faith is really the most appropriate one. And yeah, I guess I didn't really realize that like what I was saying was sounding like discriminatory. I just felt that since she made that choice, she just was disconnected from me and like stopped talking to me.
Right. So I would ask that we do the same thing and try and externalize that particular feeling. So what would it be for you?
I think like my main like issue, as much as I have made it seem, is that it's her choice of faith, is that I honestly have just felt so upset that she hasn't made any effort to keep in contact with me or to get to know my son better or anything. And since she's been gone for 5 years, it's just been that, and I feel like she hasn't made an effort.
What would it look like if that wasn't there for you?
Like if she was to be in my life more?
Yes.
I think that we would be happier. We got along so well when we were younger, and we've shared so many memories, and I know that our sons like they know each other. They get along really well. I don't know, I never meant to come across this way, and I guess I did, but I just really wanted to have my sister back.
What are some things you think you personally could do to bring you guys back together, to reconcile?
I don't know, I guess Beth had mentioned that I don't educate myself, and I guess that's true. I am very Catholic, and I believe what I believe, but I know that everyone else can too, and I guess I just kind of was being closed-minded and selfish, and I wasn't really understanding her choice, and I guess maybe before I judged, I should have asked her.
So do you think it helped hearing her story today?
I think so. I think every other time we've been very hostile against each other, and we haven't taken the time, and I get very defensive very easily, but I've had time to wind down and think about it, and I think in this format it helped.
And you?
Yeah, I think so too. I mean, I know that I've been distant, and hearing that it's hurt Martha's feelings, I mean, that obviously gets me, and I think that I should make more of an effort, and it means a lot to me that she said that she would educate herself and learn more, and I would be willing to communicate better and maybe answer any questions that she has, and I think that would bring us closer.
So I think it's really good that you both have ideas on how you can work together and separately on your own thoughts and beliefs, and hopefully that in the future and next sessions we can keep working together to help this conflict.
She used narrative therapy by allowing the sisters to tell their stories and explain their situations in more detail. The mediator set boundaries and explained the importance of respect and letting each sister have the opportunity to speak. Furthermore, the mediator used externalizing techniques to help the sisters extract themselves from the problem-saturated stories. The mediator was successful in engaging the sisters, deconstructing the conflict stories, and at the end created an alternative story that reduced the conflict. In this session, the mediator and the sisters used the therapeutic model.
Hello ladies, my name is Ashley and I'll be your mediator for today. Before we get started, can you just introduce yourselves?
Sure. My name's Martha. I'm 30 years old. I'm the oldest sister in my family.
I'm Beth, and we're 2 years apart. I'm 28.
Okay. Before we talk, I think it's important that we lay down some ground rules. This is a confidential space, so what we talk about should stay in this room. We also want it to be free of any interruptions, so if you're talking, respect that, and vice versa. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Sure.
So why don't we start with you?
I don't even know where to start. I guess, like, Beth and I, when we grew up, like, we were really close. We were only 2 years apart, so we did a lot of things together. And then fast forwarding, like, we both went in two different directions. Beth has gone overseas and got married and became Muslim and completely changed and completely, like, almost abandoned me, I feel like. Hasn't made any effort to keep in contact with me. And I kind of feel it's part of, like, where she's coming from, how she's changed her life. And because of that, I've been upset, I've been hurt, I've been angry. I haven't made an effort with her anymore. I've completely pulled away. And I think that, like, this issue just has been going on for 5 years. And it just blew up one day. And I just feel like now I look like the bad person. And I feel like I'm kind of pushed away from my family. And it's been really, really hard.
Sounds really hard.
Mm-hmm.
What about you, Beth?
Well, yeah, all those things that she said were true, but the reason that I pulled away is because I felt that she didn't approve of my faith. And that was really hard because I felt like I was being discriminated against, so I kind of pulled away and stopped making an effort because I was angry towards how she felt about me converting my faith since we grew up traditionally Catholic, and I didn't really feel comfortable being around her anymore.
Right. So have you both talked to each other about these issues before?
No, not really.
Marty?
No, I don't want to talk to her, really.
Who do you guys usually talk to then?
I usually talk to my younger sister, Andy. She's like always, we've been pretty close, and I usually, like, kind of vent to her and talk to her, and she seems to be, like, really responsive, and I think she, like, has my back.
I've also talked to her. I mean, she's our younger sister, and we taught her a lot, like, growing up, so, like, I find comfort in her as well, and she's told me a lot of the things that Martha has said about me, and they were really hurtful, and it's just really hard to hear coming from my younger sister that my older sister, who I was really close with, is talking about me like that and going to her, and so we both kind of talked to Andy about it, and yeah.
So you both are using Andy to vent to, right?
Well, don't you think that's a good idea, to have someone to, like, talk to?
I think that in order for you guys to really reconcile this issue, it's best that you guys talk to each other. Because you don't want to bring in that third party, right? Because then you're never telling each other how you're feeling, you're always telling her how you're feeling. So I think it would be best that we come together and you guys can tell each other how you feel.
I guess that's kind of why we're here, because I guess it's just kind of boiled up to something, and I think if we were to maybe try and talk it out, it might make the situation a little less upsetting. I just feel like anytime I am in the room with Beth, I always just get a cold shoulder, and I've never tried to talk to her about it.
Well, why don't you say that to Beth?
Yeah, I feel like anytime I'm at home visiting, you always, like, just make me feel that, like, I don't know anything, and you always give me the cold shoulder, and I never feel comfortable or welcomed anymore when I'm around you. And I think, like, this has just been going on ever since, like, 5 years ago when you got married, like.
Well, I mean, I understand how you're feeling because I feel the same way. like, I chose this, like, I didn't do it to make anybody mad, like, I did it because it was right for me, and I don't want you to have to resent me for, like, this decision that I made, and I didn't make it to, like, leave anyone or go away, or, like, I didn't want our relationship to suffer, but I don't know, I guess just because I was also feeling uncomfortable around you, it just turned into anger. And
why were you angry?
Well, because I felt like I wasn't accepted for, like, my new lifestyle, because I didn't want to stay in our, like, small hometown. I wanted to go off and do, like, other things, and that I was happy, like, being somewhere else instead of just, like, being, like, in town with you. Doesn't mean that I don't love you, but I've personally, like, found this life that I am enjoying, and I'm living it the way that makes me happy, but, like, I guess I stopped making an effort because I felt that I wasn't accepted, and so I kind of just gave up, but we're sisters, and we shouldn't really do that.
Mm-hmm. Well, like, I guess for you saying all that kind of, like, puts a better picture in my head of what you're feeling, and I know now you see what I'm feeling, and, like, I don't know, this is a lot easier to talk to you than to hate you or, like, be so angry at you. And I didn't realize I was just kind of really scared to address this, but I guess we're both so hurt that we're just ready to make it better. And, like, I love you, you are my sister, and I do want to make this better.
That's really nice to hear, and I think that Ashley was right that maybe we should start just talking to each other instead of talking to Andy. Like, I think that would help a lot, because I think that just, like, makes everything worse, you know?
I agree.
So it does help talking to each other, right?
Yeah, definitely.
And sometimes, too, when we're talking to each other, we might hear things that the other person is saying that we might not totally agree with. But I think that if we can try and listen to that open-heartedly and really accept it, so moving forward, we will keep talking to each other in the next sessions and see how it goes.
Okay.
In this session, the mediator and the sisters used the therapeutic model, which is based on communication. The mediator encouraged the sisters to talk to each other instead of talking to third parties like Andy, therefore creating triangles. This leads to a working premise that families who are in conflict are an ecosystem that must be dealt with systematically. The sisters accepted reality of the source of the dispute. They were committed throughout the session, and they were provided support from the mediator to practice different ways to communicate with one another, for example, talking to each other instead of talking to Andy.